In every generation, there are a few rare beings who appear not just to teach, but to radiate truth. They don't deliver complex doctrines or promise quick enlightenment. They simply are. Their very presence becomes a living transmission of peace, joy, and the divine itself. Anandamayi Ma was one such being, one of the most luminous spiritual figures of the 20th century. She wasn't trained by any master, didn't follow any tradition, and never studied the scriptures in the conventional way. Yet from the earliest days of her life, her being radiated a profound inner light, a state of natural union with the divine that required no explanation. And she remained in that state throughout her life. Whether silent or speaking, smiling or still, her presence awakened something deep in all who came near her. To some, she was a mystery. To others, she was the Divine Mother herself, nothing less than the incarnation of the Supreme Divinity, destined to heal, inspire, and transform the world. But above all, Anandamayi Ma showed us that the highest spiritual realization is not reserved for a few saints locked away in caves. It is available to each of us, here and now, because the divine is what we are in our deepest nature. In this video, we will explore the story of this extraordinary woman, her life, her presence, and her message. We will listen to her words and her luminous vision of reality, a vision that points directly to the light within us and all around us. Sometimes the inexplicable shows itself with such clarity that it dissolves the line between the human and the supernatural. This was the case with Anandamayi Ma, a woman wrapped in mystery, whose very presence challenged the boundaries of what we consider possible. Born in 1896 in a humble village home in Bengal, she was given the name Nirmala Sundari, meaning immaculate beauty. Even as a child, she was different. From an early age, her detachment from the material world was total. She often fell into long silences and deep trances. It is said that as a child she would talk to animals, trees, plants, and unseen beings while walking, using signs and gestures, as if all of nature and spirit were extensions of herself. To some, she appeared mentally deficient, too serene, too detached, too inward. Even her parents feared for her future. She seemed unaware of ordinary things, unable to recall what had just happened, or where she was. But in truth, what looked like absent-mindedness was something far deeper. She was already anchored in a reality that transcended ordinary thought. Between the ages of 17 and 25, extraordinary phenomena began to erupt from her spontaneously. After hearing a devotional chant or visiting a temple, her body would enter spontaneous stillness. Sometimes she became rigid for hours, lost in a state beyond speech. In these trances, Anandamayi Ma transcended all human barriers. Her body moved as if guided by invisible forces, adopting strange and almost unnatural yogic postures without any prior training. It was clear that the currents of the outer and inner worlds ceased to affect her completely. Her body would enter spontaneous mudras. Sacred chants would flow unbidden from her lips, and a deep bliss radiated from her gaze. For long stretches, over 3 years in total, she remained in silence, untouched by the external world, radiant with a brilliance of celestial happiness, resting in the absolute calm of herself. None of this came through effort or training. She had no guru. She studied no scriptures. The divine simply manifested through her, as if every cell of her being already carried its imprint. She didn't seek God through practice. She was in communion with that from the beginning, naturally and completely. Her devotees saw in these spontaneous manifestations a living truth, that the division between the mundane and the sacred is an illusion. As she once said, "When you look with eyes of wisdom, you discover that there is no division. only an infinite reality expressing itself in innumerable forms. Eventually, those around her began to call her Anandamayi, the bliss-permeated one. It was not a title she claimed, but a simple reflection of what she radiated. Whether surrounded by thousands or sitting quietly under a tree, her presence dissolved anxiety and awakened something luminous in those around her. Anandamayi Ma never set out to become a teacher. People simply came to her, drawn by a mysterious, effortless presence, a rare and unmistakable expression of profound stillness, joy without cause, and love without object. People from all walks of life were drawn to her, not because she promised miracles, but because she was one. Temples were built in her name, but she owned nothing. She gave no formal teachings, yet her presence transformed lives. She didn't speak of paths or doctrines. She simply embodied a state of being that many spend lifetimes seeking. Followers wrote down her words, but she never claimed to be the source. She often said, "I have no particular path. All paths are mine." Her radiance wasn't in performing miracles, although such things were often reported. One devotee recalled, "Her presence felt like standing in front of a sacred fire. You didn't need to understand. You just felt deeply, unmistakably held." Another said, "She was a window into the infinite. The more you looked at her, the more you forgot yourself." Anandamayi Ma revealed that the divine is not somewhere far away, waiting to be earned. It is already within us, closer than thought, more real than form, quietly present beneath all our effort and fear. She had no sense of separation, not from God, not from others, not from the world. Her life demonstrated that the deepest spiritual realization can live and breathe here and now, through anyone. Anandamayi Ma taught that God is not confined to heaven or hidden in scriptures. The divine is both within and without, immanent in every cell of existence, and transcendent beyond all form. She often said, "Everything in its essence is light." To her, all things, joy and pain, birth and death, form and formlessness, are expressions of the same sacred reality. This is why she encouraged people not to escape the world, but to see it rightly. The world is not a mistake to be corrected, but a manifestation to be understood. Duality is pain, she said, and described worldly experience as akin to a dream. When we wake up to the one in all things, even suffering becomes part of a greater wholeness. She taught acceptance, not as resignation, but as a sacred seeing. Good and bad, inner and outer, light and shadow. Nothing lies outside the divine. Try to be constantly aware of the fact that whatever is perceived at any time, in whatever way, is a manifestation of the Supreme Being. This awareness leads to surrender. And for Anandamayi Ma, surrender wasn't about helplessness. It was about trust. She said, "Make it as if it is the divine's work done through you as its instrument. Then your mind will be at rest and at peace." That is prayer and meditation. Her path was not bound to rituals or dogma. She welcomed all paths: devotion, knowledge, service, and meditation. Each was a doorway to the same inner flame. Whether you worship Christ, Krishna, Kali, or Allah, she said, you actually worship the one light that is also in you. Her teachings invite us to recognize the sacredness of our experience, to honor what arises in our lives, and to look gently beneath the surface of things. The divine is not elsewhere. It is here, now, in us, and in all. Divine happiness, she taught, is not a fleeting pleasure or passing joy. It is a state so deep and subtle that even the smallest particle of it, once attained, never leaves one again. This happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but is the very essence of life itself, eternal and unshakable. She explained that to reach this divine happiness is to touch the core of existence and find oneself. When this self is truly discovered, nothing else remains to be found. The restless craving of the heart ceases, and torment is stilled forever. She warned that many lives are wasted in endless wandering without asking the vital question, who am I? Her teaching was clear. Ask this question sincerely, for it is the doorway to supreme realization. When your tears unite the inner and outer worlds, you will find the presence you sought with such yearning, closer than your own breath, deeper than the core of your heart. She taught that reality surpasses all language and thought. What can be expressed in words is only a fragment of what truly is. The true essence lies beyond the reach of speech, silent, infinite, and beyond concept. She likened saints to trees, silent and welcoming. Saints neither call anyone nor push anyone away. Like trees that give shade, flowers and fruit freely to all, whether human or bird, they offer shelter and gifts without discrimination. Her presence conveyed this quality: open, generous, and unconditional. She taught that the restless mind, full of worldly desires, naturally becomes confused. To find peace, one must withdraw from these distractions and turn the mind inward. She reminded us, joys and sorrows are born of time and must pass. We should not be disturbed by their coming and going. At the heart of her teachings was the recognition of a deeper reality behind the passing flow of thoughts and feelings, a timeless, unconditioned awareness that is our essential being. She often said, "You are not this body, this mind, these thoughts or emotions. That which you truly are has no form, no name, no beginning, and no end." She encouraged perseverance. The harder the obstacles, the stronger the inner striving and prayer. Eventually, mastery is gained. Among her most intimate teachings was a simple yet powerful practice she called the art of staying. This was not a technique in the usual sense, but a quiet resting in the awareness that underlies every experience. To stay, not to react, not to fix, not to become, but to simply be, was, in her words, the deepest form of surrender. The art of staying is the art of being, she said. It is dissolving into the boundless ocean of consciousness that you truly are. Look at a tree. From one seed arises a huge tree. From it comes numerous seeds, each one of which, in its turn, grows into a tree. No two fruits are alike, yet it is one life that throbs in every particle of the tree. So, it is the same divine reality everywhere. Her teaching emphasized the oneness of all beings, even though they appear diverse. This divine presence pervades everything silently. To dissolve the illusion of separateness, she advised two ways: melt the sense of otherness with devotion, or burn it away with knowledge. The result is self-knowledge, knowing oneself as the whole. She also taught that freedom doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from fully welcoming every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, without resistance. Suffering is the gateway to freedom, she said. Only through the total acceptance of life, just as it is, can the ego's grip dissolve and the boundless self be revealed. She often reminded us that the answers are within, but she never taught us to reject the world. On the contrary, she saw the external as a necessary reflection, part of the same creation. To her, life was a mirror that responds to our inner state. She listened to it, observed it, learned from it. She taught us not to escape it, but to be fully present, to read the signs, to recognize ourselves in what appears outside. Nothing is meaningless. Everything can speak, if we watch quietly enough. She described the universe as a vast garden filled with infinite variety. Each being adds its own unique beauty and contributes to the glory of the whole. This diversity, she taught, is the manifestation of the one eternal reality. She acknowledged that there could not be one single path for all, because the divine reveals itself in infinite forms. Yet all paths lead to the same unchanging, indivisible truth. She taught that love of oneself naturally extends to all beings. The supreme experience shows that in serving others, one serves the self. Every act of kindness is a step toward awakening. Through single-minded devotion, profound inquiry arises. She explained that the divine light descends on the devotee, awakening inner realization. This truth manifests in two ways: as a silent, self-luminous peace, or as the eternal play of creation. Though forms change endlessly, the essence remains the same everywhere. She guided us beyond the mind's limits, showing that no solution from the intellect alone can be final. Every answer is partial, seen from a specific viewpoint. Her teaching revealed a place beyond contradictions, a universal resolution where problems cease to arise and dualities dissolve. She taught that peace cannot be found in constant motion, or the endless coming and going of worldly life. The only hope of peace, she said, lies in turning inward to the stillness within. There is nothing in this world, yet everyone is madly pursuing this nothing. Some more, some less. But there is no cause for despair. With purity, unflinching faith, and burning eagerness, go ahead, and you will realize your true self. Try to be constantly aware that whatever is perceived, at any time, in whatever way, is a manifestation of the Supreme Being. Even the feeling of its absence is its manifestation, so that its presence may be realized. Do not settle for fragmentary happiness, which is always interrupted by the shocks and blows of fate. Become whole, and having attained to that wholeness, be yourself. While Ma didn't give step-by-step techniques the way some modern paths do, her life and words offer powerful orientation points we can bring into our everyday experience. These are not rules, but gentle reminders that come directly from the way she lived and taught. 1. Stay with what you are. Instead of trying to fix, change, or improve yourself, Ma pointed us to what is already here. The silent awareness behind thoughts, feelings, and sensations. When something arises, observe it quietly and allow it to unfold. Introspection, the honest looking within, helps us see through what is false and return to what is real. 2. Don't resist life. Ma often said that everything that comes is divine. This doesn't mean we have to enjoy suffering, but rather that we meet it without pushing it away. Each experience is part of the unfolding. The more we stop struggling against life, the freer we become. 3. Let go of the idea that you are the doer. You don't need to control everything. Life moves through you. Watch how things happen without your effort. The breath, the thoughts, even the body's movements. The deeper you see this, the more peace you feel. 4. Make space for silence. Even a few minutes of quiet each day, without distractions or goals, can reconnect you to what Ma called the inner place. A stillness that's always here, beneath all noise. You don't need a ritual. Just be quiet and stay. 5. Live simply. Ma's life was simple and undemanding. She didn't chase experiences or possessions. You don't have to renounce the world. But slowing down, doing one thing at a time, and appreciating the present can open a door to deep inner clarity. 6. Remember that grace is already here. She never claimed power or ownership over her insights. For Ma, everything came from the divine, and it's the same for us. We don't have to reach for something outside. Grace is already moving through every moment. Throughout her life, Anandamayi Ma touched countless lives with her profound wisdom, boundless compassion, and the sheer power of her spiritual presence. Her words and the stories of her life offer a glimpse into the extraordinary nature of this remarkable woman. She once spoke with characteristic humility and clarity. "Before I came to this earth, I was the same. Even as a little girl, I was the same. I grew into womanhood, but still, I was the same." On another occasion, Ma encountered a humble beggar sitting by the side of the road. Without hesitation, she approached him, bowed deeply, and asked for his blessing. The beggar, stunned, said, "But I am just a poor, lowly beggar. How can I bless one such as you, who is so revered and spiritually elevated?" Anandamayi Ma simply smiled and replied, "You are the embodiment of the divine, my child. In your eyes, I see the face of the Absolute. It is you who have the power to bless me, for you are the living presence of the sacred in this world." And perhaps no words sum up her essence more clearly than these. I am whatever you are. I have no special path. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. What remains is the real. In this one statement, and in the quiet depth of her presence, Ma transmitted the essence of true freedom. Not a freedom found through effort, religion, or belief, but one that is uncovered when all striving falls away. We don't need complicated theories, dogmas, or secret systems to reach the divine. What we need is honesty with ourselves, simplicity, inner stillness, the courage to feel, the willingness to peel back every layer that is not truly us, to be who we are, to love ourselves fully, with every flaw and every moment, to listen within and see the sacred where others see only the ordinary, to accept this world and open ourselves to the unknown. This, more than anything, was the path she lived. And in doing so, she showed us that the divine is not far. It is already here, waiting to be seen with open eyes. I hope this information helps you, and always remember, you hold immense power within, far beyond the physical world. You are here to awaken to it. Thank you for listening.